All right, hello fourth grade friends, and welcome to your second to last math video of the year. Today, what we're going to do is we are going to be looking at comparing fractions, and we're going to look at specifically comparing fractions to the fraction 1/2. So we're going to use 1/2 as a bit of a foundation that we're comparing other fractions too. Before we get started, we will go over our class norms, although I have, after weeks of using it, misplaced my list of norms. I think it might have gotten recycled. But you guys are all experts on what our norms are by now. You know that we are going to be respectful. We are going to have a positive attitude. We're going to keep trying even when things get hard. We're going to remember the word yet. So you can see I've got your learning target for you right now, and what we're going to do today is we are going to look at using less than, greater than, and equal to signs to compare different fractions to the fraction of 1/2. So I've got an example problem right here. We're looking at the fraction 3/4 and thinking about, is it greater than, is it less than, or is it equal to 1/2? And we have got this page right here called Shading and Comparing Fractions Using Half that we're going to be looking at today. So the directions are, we need to shade in some of each bar below to show 5 fractions. And we need to make sure that none of our fractions are equivalent to each other. All of them are going to be different. And then the other thing we need to do is we're going to write the fraction that describes the work. So we'll fill or shade in some of this, and then we'll write what that fraction is, and then we'll use those signs we talked about to compare that fraction to the fraction 1/2. So when I'm working with fractions like this, and I'm noticing before I do any work that I've got different fractions set up already. These are already broken into different size pieces. So I always want to make sure that I'm thinking about what those pieces are. So like with this first one on the top, I'm noticing that it's broken into 4 equal sized pieces. So I know that as I start filling these pieces in, each piece I fill in is going to be 1/4. Or if I'm looking down here, I'm counting, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pieces for this bar right here. So I know that this right here has been broken into 12ths. So that's the first thing I would do, is make sure you know what fraction you're working with each one of these. Now, I mentioned already that this one is broken into fourths for us, and our example problem was looking at 3/4 compared to 1/2. So let's do that right now. So I'm going to fill in 1, and you can shade this in however much you want. I'm going to do mine really quick. 1, 2, and one more, 3. So now I've got 3/4 filled in there. And I'll make sure that I write that fraction as well. Comparing 3/4. Okay, and now what I need to do is I need to use those greater than, less than, or equal sign to compare these. Now, most of you are looking at this and already know the answer, but if you need to, what you can do is you can compare what you shaded in to this up top and use that to help you figure out if what you shaded in is greater than, equal to, or less than 1/2. Remember, 1/2 is already shaded in for us up here. Now, as I'm looking at this, I'm noticing that because more of this is shaded in than here, 3/4 is bigger than 1/2, or that means it's going to be greater than. So I'm going to make sure that I come on over here and I include my greater than sign. And now I'm going to do the same thing for these remaining bars here. And remember, it's really important. Step 1 said that we need to make sure that no 2 of your fractions are equivalent to each other. So if I was shading in this bar, let me go on and shade in this bar right here. It's really hard to do with one hand, surprisingly. Shade and shade and shade in. So let's say I've shaded in all that. As I'm looking and comparing these two, I'm noticing that they've shaded in the same amount on both. I can see and compare this line right here this line right here, and those are going to be the same. So I need to make sure actually these aren't the same. So I'm going to go in and shade in one more 12th, and then from there I can count how many pieces are filled in or shaded in, and think about my hole, how many pieces there are in the hole, and then compare that once again to 1/2. Now once you've got all of that done, one last thing for you to do is write your 5 fractions in order from least to greatest, and that's really important. Make sure you're starting with the least, the smallest, and you're ending with the greatest. That's it for this one, 4th grade friends. We've got one more math video to do after this. And then from there, the next time we do math, you'll still be learning from me, but we're going to be in 5th grade. All right, we'll see you next time.